Make this holiday season one to remember with Goldbelly, your one-stop shop for America's most iconic foods shipped nationwide. From the original turducken to the viral pie Kagan with decadent layers of Kagan pie, Goldbelly has everything to wow your guests with the click of a button. And with Black Friday around the corner, it's the perfect time to pre-order unique gifts that ship right to their door. Use promo code GIFT for 20% off your first order on goldbelly.com. The holidays have never been easier.
Welcome to Witchcast!
'Cause it's Witchcast.
I'm Emily.
I'm Kate.
And we're your co-hosts of this, the Witchcast podcast.
That's right, we're your learning, growing, ever-evolving novice witches, here to explore everything under the woo-woo, esoteric, spiritual umbrella.
And what a lovely umbrella it is. Bejeweled,
Yes,
multicolored,
encrusted.
And yet also black as the night.
Yes,
Little
somehow
stars.
So black.
It's sparkly and gloomy. I can't explain it, but...
Yeah, it's indescribable, but
yeah.
You love it, you know it, and you're here. Thank you for being
Thanks for being here. Thank you so much for listening. Guys, this is
Hello.
our season finale.
Ba-ba-ba-ba.
Whoa! Next season, I'll get some sound effects lined up for us.
I really like
Boing.
our homemade sound effects. Are really terrible
And the crowd goes
mouth
wild.
noises. That's like what my boomer dad does. He's like, the crowd goes wild. So corny.
I
Yeah,
love it.
episode 715, the last of season 7 of this season.
You might notice that we
goddess.
just kind of decide how many episodes there are in a season every year, and that's just what it is.
we go until our ancestors say stop.
Yeah, exactly. The ancestors have communicated that it is time to shut it down for a little bit.
That or our neurons just are like completely frayed and we're like,
Yeah. We basically go until we're too EP to
yeah, too
continue.
EP. The missiles are EP and we're just done. But we'll be back. We just need a little break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to go, worship the sunshine or whatever. Because it's nice out. And,
It
what are we
is.
going to do? Be in our little podcasting studio on the astral plane when it's so sunny out?
I need to be in the physical plane. I can't be in the astral plane right now. I'm currently surrounded by cardboard. Did you see this right here?
Oh, look at that. You are.
Because I have my neighbors have roofers working, so I had to bring out my little soundboards. My
And
little
I'm
makeshift
surrounded
soundboards.
by receipts.
Just receipts.
Here's some
ASMR.
little Foley for you.
Foley. I'm always surrounded by receipts. I still have my doom piles everywhere.
Oh, it's so bad. The floordrobe, the doom pile.
I recently read an article on Psychology Today, and I actually did read it. It wasn't just a headline.
It wasn't a TikTok.
It wasn't a TikTok. It was like how to talk to your child who's self-diagnosing themselves from TikTok with mental health disorders. But it was like I read this study, and I'll link it in our website. But if you're interested, but yeah, they did an independent study of 500 videos from TikTok with the hashtag mental health, and something like 86% of them were misleading.
Yeah.
I guess they categorize them, ADHD, trauma, depression, anxiety. The number one most misleading in terms of content was the ADHD TikToks, which I am guilty of falling for.
Oh yeah,
I am definitely self-diagnosed.
They convinced so many people that they had ADHD that like they ran out of Adderall, right? Like, the countries had like a shortage.
And I don't, I think it's pros and cons. I mean, but they did say something like 2%ish, I think, of people who actually post about mental health are actually licensed professionals. So I think it's just, and also they also measured harm, like how many of these TikToks are actually harmful versus like misleading or misinformation. And the ones that were the most harmful were the ones about trauma, which is a little concerning. So I think, of course, like we say with everything you read online, vet it.
Grain of
get
salt.
Multiple sources. Yeah, grain
Whole
of salt.
circle of salt.
Talk to your doctors.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's just a little note there for you.
Thanks,
and for
Kate.
me.
That's a really helpful disclaimer.
Because I was like, wow, I totally drank the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
I totally drank the TikTok Kool-Aid. I mean, I still do think I have ADHD, but I mean, I'm not medicated or anything for it, but.
Yeah. It's, here's what I'll say. I think that, like, in the modern world, attention, like, there's a lot of demands on our attention. And even if you were not clinically someone who would qualify for ADHD medications, using, like, ADHD techniques and that kind of thing, there's no harm in, like, if it helps you find your keys every day, put them in the same place.
Right.
You know, it doesn't matter if you have a diagnosis or not. If that helps you, do it,
Yeah.
When it comes to drugs, obviously talk to your doctor first, but keeping lists more organized or whatever, like, bullet journals or something. I guess bullet journals are not helpful, but like whatever, timers. I use a lot of timers.
Yes.
It helps,
Yeah. Yeah. Amen, sister.
Yeah. Thanks.
Well said. Anyway,
So
we're not
friends.
talking about that today.
Yeah. Yeah, this is actually not a mental health
That was a total
episode.
segue.
This is something
Total
much
aside.
more terrifying. Well, mental health is also terrifying in its own way. This is in some ways
kind of
we're
tangentially
going
related.
spelunking into the human mind
Spelunking.
because we're talking about Ouija boards
Ouija board.
or Ouija boards.
Oh,
I
yeah,
grew up
I
calling
guess.
it Ouija, but then everyone calls it Ouija. So I
Wait, you
just
grew
started
up.
calling
Okay,
it...
so that's how you grew up calling it?
Yeah.
Ouija?
Yeah.
Okay.
But now I've said Ouija for so long that I don't know who I am anymore,
I would like our listeners to weigh in on this. I grew up calling it Ouija, but yeah, please let us know. Spell it out in our comments phonetically.
Ouija.
Email us.
Ouija.
Let us know. How do you pronounce the famous, divination
Talking
board?
Yeah.
Ouija.
Yeah. Ouija itself, the name is actually trademarked. It's a trademark of Hasbro. It is not the official name of these boards. Generically, they're called talking boards, and we should probably refer to them as that, but we won't.
Yeah.
But yeah, I grew up calling it Ouija, but I'd love to know if that's Canadian or if that was just like me reading it and being like, this is probably right.
Interesting. Well, I mean, like, other people around you called them that. No one corrected you growing up, right? Like,
yeah, I don't remember anyone. I mean, I don't know. They might have, and I just didn't listen. This is the thing. Like, all my childhood is blurry now. I don't know. You tell me.
it's all a haze.
Yeah.
It's all in a different timeline.
Yeah. That was all back in the Berenstein Bears universe. You know?
Oh God. Don't even get me started on this Mandela effect bullshit.
We're playing it fast and loose today, guys. We're talking
It's gonna
about
hurt
Ouija
my
boards.
head. All right. So tell our listeners, Emily, for those who maybe don't know, what is the Ouija board? What is this talking board? Let's go.
So
let's
if
dive
you
in.
somehow haven't seen one, despite all the many horror movies that feature them, a Ouija board is like it's a long rectangle, usually like folding board of some sort, or just whole board, doesn't always fold, and then it's got letters laid out on it, and then yes, no, hello, and goodbye, and then you have this little pointer or planchette that everybody puts their fingers on, and like it moves basically and points to different things. And a lot of people believe that this is like a way of communicating with spirits or possibly demons, and like getting messages from the other side by spelling things out with this board. Is that a reasonable explanation of what it is?
Yeah, it's like a
speaking?
divination tool it's like seen as a divination tool or a communication tool. And the planchette nowadays has like the tips on the bottom are covered in like a felt, so like it can be moved
roll
smoothly
a little smooth movement
across the board with very light touch. I should say that. Yeah.
So interestingly, Ouija boards came from automatic writing, which we've talked about a little itty bit before, because it was part of like our spiritualism episode back in like season 1 or 2.
I think it was 2. Because one was short, so I think it was 2.
But so Ouija boards basically came from automatic writing, which is where if you haven't, people do it sometimes for like morning pages and that kind of thing, but also as like a divination tool where you basically like let your hand write without you sort of thinking about it or trying to be in control of it. And yeah, some people use it as a divination tool. Some people just use it as a way to like connect with their creativity and try and be really free. There's
it's a good mental health exercise. Yeah.
There was like an absurdist, I want to say, or surrealist art movement that used automatism for art. back in like the 1920s, I want to say. But basically it's like it's like letting your hand ride free. And then so planchettes, the little pointer that you see on Ouija boards now, before Ouija boards were invented, there was a version that had a pencil in it, so it was like a smoother way to do automatic writing, or like it felt more, I guess, a little more disconnected from your hand. But like so especially like in the early spiritualist movement, people would like put a pencil in a planchette and then like write. And then someone was like, oh, what if we like wrote out the letters for the spirits, and then they could just point to it for us.
Yeah, make it easier.
Yeah. So that's loosely the development of the Ouija board as we know it. But interestingly, this same method of planchette writing also existed in 1100 AD in the Song dynasty in China. Oh. It was known as Fuji planchette writing. And it was considered, like, ostensibly a means of, like, necromancy or communing with the spirit world. Under, like, but there were, like, specific rituals, and, like, you would be, like, supervised. It was part of the, I'm going to get this name wrong, but Quanzhen school.
Huh.
Quanzhen.
I love how ancient Chinese culture is. Like, it's been around for so long. And
Quanzhen. Sorry.
No, it's okay. That so much can be like tied back to it. And when we say China, it's not like what we know of China today. It's like the continent of like mainland Asia. It's just like the dynasties go back so long. So much like can be found. It's fascinating. Anyway, go on.
Yeah. So that's really all the information I have about like that far back, except that it was forbidden by the Qing dynasty a little bit later, which would be like the 17th century, I guess. But so anyway, there was a little precursor there, but like broadly, talking boards as we know them came to us in America through the spiritualist movement, which, as you might recall, was like the 1880s-ish, mid to late 1800s. And Ouija boards in particular became, or like a lot of these different things, became really popular following the American Civil War because people wanted to connect with their dead relatives, basically. Yeah. There was like the spiritualist movement was happening. A lot of people had lost people, and everyone was like, I would like to talk to Mother, please, or whatever, you know?
Yeah. Life expectancy was really low. There was war. And we talked about this a lot in our spirituals episode, but yeah, it was very popular to hold seances and try and communicate with the dead. Yeah. And these boards made it easier.
Right. And then so the Ouija board, the name, it was named in 1890 in Baltimore, Maryland, by a lady named Helen Peters Noseworthy. And it was patented by a businessman named Elijah Bond. And they basically took something that I think was already happening. Like talking boards were pretty common out in the world, but they said, we're going to patent this thing and put a name on it. And now wait, I said this already, didn't I? The trademark is owned by Hasbro. Did I say that?
Yeah, you mentioned that briefly. I think so. The story behind the naming was really interesting. I found this in an article in the Smithsonian. So and Bond, by the way, I found this. He got together a group of 4 other investors. So it was Elijah Bond, a local attorney, Colonel Washington Bowie, a surveyor, Charles Kennard, and can't find the name of the other person. But like basically these 4 dudes, they're not spiritualists at all. They're businessmen. They were like, we see this need. Let's bank on this. Let's make money. And so then they reached out to Bond's sister-in-law, Helen Peters, like you said. And they were like, she was a medium. A strong medium, and they said, well, what do we name this? And they asked the board what they should call it, and the board named itself. And they said, what does Ouija mean? And the board replied, good luck. Which is funny, eerie, cryptic, but at the same time, Peters did acknowledge she was wearing a locket that had a picture of a woman and the name Ouija above her head, which was the name of a popular women's rights activist. So it could have been maybe, we'll talk about this, but it could have been like some subconscious misreading of that picture's name. But anyway, that was interesting. And then, I don't know if you're going to talk about this, but when they went to the patent office, I thought this was really interesting. The patent clerk had demanded them to prove that this board worked. So they had to actually take out the board and spell out the patent clerk's name using the board, and to prove to the patent clerk that this board actually did work. And so Bond and Peters used the board, sat down, communed with the spirits, and faithfully spelled out the patent officer's name. And they did it successfully. And February 10th, 1891, a white-faced and visibly shaken patent officer awarded Bond the patent for his new toy or game.
That's awesome.
Isn't that funny?
But yeah, so it was basically like a parlor game at that point, like in the early 1900s. And to my understanding, people were not as spooked by it as they are
No,
now.
they loved it. They were like
really
so
into
popular.
it. Yeah. Between the the war stuff and the, communing with the dead, and then also just like it being sort of a time of like spiritualism as entertainment,
Yeah, it wasn't scary yet. We didn't have the whole Christian what's it called, like Satanic Panic yet. So like this was
all the
still
layers that were ultimately put on a lot of this
right.
stuff.
So this was really popular. So briefly, it was a huge moneymaker. By 1892, the Kennard Novelty Company went on from one factory in Baltimore to two in New York, two in Chicago, one in London. By 1893, so 1 year later, Kennard and Bond were out, owing to some internal pressure. So I think this is really interesting. I want to talk a little bit about just briefly about the drama between these.
You mentioned, and I haven't read this, so I'm really interested
So this is some drama by the 4 original trademark owners, and I don't know, I love some drama, business drama.
We
and
love
I also
a little tea.
I'm also like, was it cursed? I don't know. Anyway, that's me inferring. But they said internal pressures and money changing things. So then William Fuld, who was one of the other who got on the ground floor of this company as an employee and stockholder, he was running the company. So Fuld never claimed to be an inventor of the board, but his obituary did declare him to be the inventor. He was not. But notably, I love this, Fuld died in 1921 after a freak fall from the roof of his new factory, a factory he said that the Ouija board told him to build.
Dang, so creepy.
Yes. In 1898, with the blessing of Colonel Bowie, the majority shareholder and one of the only 2 remaining original investors, he licensed the exclusive rights to make the board. What followed were the boom years for Fuld and the frustration of the men who'd been on from the beginning. They really had a lot of squabbling and fighting, and it played all out on the newspaper. This was very publicized. Rival boards launched and failed. And then in 1919, Bowie sold the remaining business interest to Ouija to Fuld, his protege, for $1.
Damn.
Yeah. And then eventually, believe it was Parker Brothers who bought the rights, and that's then how it got to Hasbro. But yeah, there was some drama for sure.
Yeah, serious drama. I also want to just jump in here to say quickly that Kate and I originally talked about getting a Ouija board for this episode and decided that we were too scared.
Yeah. I was like, we have to do a Ouija board. We have to play with one to like do an episode on Ouija. And then I was after researching, I was like, no, this absolutely.
Did you play with one growing up?
No, I mean, like, I think I must have at least once, like, a friend's board. I never owned my own, but, like, I know I definitely have touched one. Like, I know I've touched, but, like, they've always kind of freaked me out. I don't think I've always been a little skeptic about them, and I've always been a little scared of them.
Yeah, I had one. I was like, like that friend that was like, let's play with the Ouija board.
Oh, shit, you were that friend?
Yeah.
You're such a double Scorpio.
But people were always like, you're pushing it. And I'd be like, I'm not.
Were you though? Were you the one?
No, I
it?
wasn't.
Oh.
But I think it was okay, so we're going to get into like the scientific explanation for how it works. But like, basically it's like, if you know that you're not pushing it, you assume the other person is, right?
Yeah.
Or especially if you're like a middle school girl. So like,
yes, you can't trust anyone. Like you always assume it's the other person.
Yeah. But so I do have like a negative memory of a girl just being like, you're pushing it. And I was like, I'm not fucking doing anything. You get out of here. And then I was like, Ouija board's gone. But it was more like middle school stuff than really being spooked by the spirits.
I mean, as we've talked about before, and I feel like so many of our listeners identify this, middle school and like late grade school, I think for like, especially for women our age and queer folk our age, it was a heavy witch time. It was like Ouija boards, light as a feather, stiff as a board, like all like watching The Craft, watching Sabrina the Teenage Witch, watching like a lot of witch culture stuff. Like it was witchy times. 100%. That's why we're here. That's why we're here now.
Yeah, that's how we ended up here.
That's you're either a horse girl or a witch girl, and sometimes you're both, and that's why we're here now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I love that this article pointed out like that this like even Norman Rockwell had a painting in 1920 of like blissful like domesticity of a man and woman with a Ouija board on their knees. Like that's how popular and mainstream it was. Like
I read W.B. Yeats like wrote a lot of his later poetry based around using a Ouija board.
Yeah, people used it. Yeah, absolutely. In their writing. I mean, people used it in terms of who they would leave their money to. People used it, of course, in crime, unfortunately. Like,
oh, yeah, right.
Like who they would murder.
Imagining, like, robbing a bank. I was like, how? But yeah, no, like fraud would be the obvious one.
Oh, no, I'm just saying, like, someone, there's an account of 2 women in Buffalo, New York, who murdered another woman, supposedly on the encouragement of Ouija board messages in 1930.
Creepy.
You know, someone joined the army because the Ouija board told them to in 1940. You know, like, there's so many stories I read of, like, people living their lives based on what these boards told them.
Yeah.
Which is insane. Along with, you know, the arts as well. Like, so a lot of, like, this was so commonplace. And then 1973 happened and The Exorcist came out.
Yeah. And it's pretty much been horror movies ever since for the Ouija board.
Yeah. I feel like so much of what we talk about, The Exorcist was... Oh, and I forgot to mention, we didn't mention Aleister Crowley, but I feel like that's a given.
Oh, yeah. Aleister Crowley was a fan.
He loved them.
Yeah. And I think there are like unpublished writings, but obviously if they're posting them online, they're published sort of, you know, that you can read.
But not like officially.
Where he was like going back and forth with one of the people he talked to, trying to, like, they were like, we should make up our own Ouija board, like a competitor one or like, you know, a better one. And they didn't end up doing it. But their feeling was basically, or I think that this was them. I don't know. I read a bunch of stuff today and now it's all kind of getting mashed up. But I think this was them. Was that they felt that if you cast a circle... Yeah, no, it was them. That if you cast a circle and were like very specific about who you wanted to call in, you could use it as like a tool for...
I mean, honestly, if we were going to do that, that's what I would suggest is like do as much protection magic as possible, cast a purposeful circle, like do be intentful with it. And then close the circle afterwards. Do a lot of protection shit. Say, you know, clear and cleanse afterwards. You know, I'd have to do that. I think would be the only way I'd feel comfortable. I think nowadays working with it. Not that I necessarily believe that it's but like, and we'll talk about this. I think, but like any other tool, tarot, pendulums, it's all tools, right? Like it is just literally plastic. It's just cardboard, like whatever. But it's how you use it. And so I think, you know, it's just about intent.
Right.
But anyway, yeah.
100%. But they also thought that they used it to, in their practice, like communicate with angels or like a singular angel at a time was their, at least in the writings I was reading, which would be a very different even thought process around a Ouija board than I think we would ever have, you know, or think to do. Like, I mean, it was just such a different time. It was there, you know, like, again, The Exorcist didn't exist yet. Like, right. I don't know when exactly. But I think a lot of people communicate with different entities all the time now, you know, in different ways. I don't know. A lot of people have patron saints, patron gods. Right. Yeah, exactly. You know. And, you know, it's just a different way to connect. I was trying to find out, do you know roughly, like, so the broadly since pretty early in the Ouija board's life, Christian denominations have been like, or some Christian denominations have been like, no. And specifically, I know the Catholic Church explicitly forbids any practice of divination and include the usage of Ouija boards in that. I don't know. I mean, I think it's so hard because I think it's recently changed because at least in my research, like spiritualism was the thing that was totally okay with Christianity for a long time because it was like, I mean, people like propped up dead people in their parlors, for like days on end, you know, like people communicated went to seances and then went to church the next day, you know, like that was common. It was so different, and then you had with the Satanic Panic with the 50s on, basically the 1950s and on in the United States, at least I can speak to, everything kind of changed, and so, well, I guess, you know, and then I guess like it's complicated, right? Because we had witch trials before then, obviously, right? Yeah. So it's I don't know. Yeah, it's all mixed up. I personally didn't grow up being dissuaded from any of that. My parents were, though, very lax Catholics. Like, we went to church, but, like, we didn't. My parents
felt like it was all play stuff. I mean, they were more concerned about me seeing anything sexual on TV than anything else.
God forbid.
Yeah, they were like, when I asked them if I could watch the movie Scream at the age of 11, my mom was like, not concerned about the girl. Yeah, she was like, isn't there a sex scene? Not that the girl gets halved by a garage door, but more so, does a girl get a penis inside of her? That's what's important.
Right.
I was like, they don't show anything, Mom. They show a lot of gore, but
yeah, there's much worse things I'm about to see if I watch this movie.
That haunted me for years. Not so much them kissing and fading to black.
Right,
anyway.
Anyway. Anyhow, where were we? Okay, so then we get into the Satanic Panic.
So then it became, so then after The Exorcist, like, which is so funny because it's like one of my favorite horror movies of all time, but it really did kind of fuck up everything for so much. Like, it really freaked everyone out. And that's when Ouija boards became, she was playing with a Ouija board in the movie.
Right, yeah, and she meets it's like, what's the name of the demon? It's like Happy Gilmore, but it isn't. It's like,
wait, what is the name of the demon? That's so funny.
It's
oh god.
Wait,
no, we have to look it up
now. Hold tight.
Okay.
I think I have it here if you give me a sec.
I'll keep talking while you look it up. But anyway, so then that movie
Captain Howdy.
Was that the name of the demon for real?
I think so. Well, that was what it tells her its name is on the Ouija board. I don't think that's its real name.
No, I was like, I thought its name was like not Beelzebub, but something like that.
Yeah, I think that ultimately, yeah.
But this was 1973, and it was terrifying to audiences. And gosh, like even in 1951, like Lucy and Ethel used a Ouija board in I Love Lucy, and it was like a fun, jokey seance. But like, The Exorcist really terrified people. So then it became seen as opening a door for evil spirits. So it completely changed the kind of public persona of this game. And then you started to see people demonize it, burning it, later we had people burning it alongside with copies of Harry Potter.
What a world.
Christian groups were, very
in retrospect, they were right to burn Harry Potter just for the wrong reason. No, never burn books. No burn book. No book burning.
Yeah, we don't condemn book burning. But, it really kind of changed the mentality around it to what we kind of know of it today. I think a lot of people still feel very wary of these boards as portals more so than toys and games.
Yeah. People see them. I feel like they've certainly shifted more to like where tarot cards are at the very least, where it's like you can consider it entertainment, but maybe like there's like a little bit of
there's power.
Yeah.
Be careful what you do with them.
Yeah. And then because it's also I was thinking about this because I was like, why are we so nervous about Ouija boards? And it, especially like with the history of it, it doesn't seem like. But so we had The Exorcist, right? But then Wikipedia very handily has a list of like all the movies with Ouija boards in them.
Ooh.
Or a significant portion of them. And so in 1986 you had Witchboard, which was a movie. 1991 you had And You Thought Your Parents Were Weird. What Lies Beneath had a seance scene with the board. Paranormal Activity.
Yes,
involves,
1 and 2.
Yeah. Both have Ouija boards.
Which are terrifying movies, actually. Those are really good
those
movies.
were really scary.
Those were like some of the first found footage, along with Blair Witch. Those were like the first to do that. Go on.
Yeah,
sorry.
and then there were like lesser horror movies. Remember there was like in 2014 Ouija, or was just like the name of, and then Ouija Origin of Evil was like a prequel from 2016.
Oh my God.
And then there's a bunch of other ones,
those, but yeah.
No, I didn't watch them either, but it's like, yeah, of course we were like concerned.
Yeah. I mean, it's everywhere. It's kind of like coming at you from all sides. Which, can we take we're going to talk about the science and our theories behind how Ouija works in a second, but can we take a real quick sidestep to talk about this tarot movie coming out?
Wait, I haven't seen it. There's a tarot movie?
There's a trailer. It has not come out yet. There's a tarot movie coming out. It is a horror movie. It looks absolutely awful.
Let's go see it in theaters.
I don't know if you want to give money to them. It is like,
we'll go on Tuesdays at a lot of the Regals now do like
discount.
like $5 tickets. Yeah.
Okay, I'll come with you. I'll do that.
All right.
Of course, it's like the major arcana is hunting down these co-eds. Literally, like the tarot community on
no.
Reddit is laughing because I was like reading the subreddit and they were like, "What do you think about this movie?" And everyone, of course, like fucking detests it already. Like they were talking about Ouija as like an example of like again movie Hollywood producers who know nothing about a concept
Right.
and they're just and like tarot already gets so. Like is in so much media, is in so many TV shows and movies, so poorly done. Every time I see tarot featured in some sort of, it's always like true crime, right?
It's really like they didn't even Google, didn't even try one
you didn't even try.
Yeah.
But they showed like the hangman chasing down like a cord, and they're like, "What is the hangman gonna fucking do?" Like it's just like so funny.
Get her, the hermit.
It's like, oh, the high priestess is coming after you, but it's like really funny. The deck looks really spooky though, and people were talking about like, oh, it'd be really cool to have like a horror themed tarot deck. Like that's the art's neat, like just completely separately. But yeah, I just think it's really funny the commodification of like witchy stuff and just how this movie got greenlit with like clearly zero consultation of anyone.
I mean, maybe they had to do it that way. They were like,
yeah, maybe they couldn't do anything.
We're not going to be able to do this.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about how do Ouija boards work?
Yeah. Okay. Let's get into
the
like
scientists believe, and then we'll talk about what we believe.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's talk about the real shit, I guess. So okay.
The real shit.
Scientists believe that the way that Ouija boards work, let me stop making little scrolling noises. So scientists believe that the way that Ouija boards work is basically with like subconscious micro movements, where like there's two different names for this. There's like automatism, like automatic writing, where it's basically like you're intentionally disconnecting yourself from your movements, and then there's idiomotor. The idiomotor phenomenon, which is basically like ideo is like mind or idea, motor is obviously physical movements, but it's basically like your subconscious is creating these little movements without your like conscious awareness of it. So basically the way that it works is like tiny little movements, or your subconscious in much larger movements is driving the boat. Is basically what they believe. And they do believe that that is in fact happening, because it's not, okay, so justice for 12-year-old Emily, I wasn't pushing the thing around. It really does happen to people. I was just dumb enough to really manage to disconnect. But it was, but basically it like, they've done like studies on people using Ouija boards in different ways. And what they've found is that loosely, it's basically like you're more accurate than like a straight guess when using a Ouija board. Kate, you read more about these studies. Okay, am I doing a good job explaining this? I feel like I'm wandering a little here.
No, you're doing great. So quickly, this is by Dr. Ron Rensink, Helene Gaucho, and Dr. Sidney Fells. I believe they're of the University of British Columbia Visual Cognition Lab. So what they did is they had two experiments. One was with a Ouija playing robot, where participants were told they were playing with a person in another room, like a human, via teleconference, like a Zoom call or something. The robot, they were told, mimicked the movements of the other person, but in reality the robot's movements simply just amplified the participants' motions, and the person in the other room was just a ruse. And it was a way to get the participant to think they weren't in control. And then the participants were asked a series of yes or no fact-based questions, like, were the 2000 Olympics held in Sydney? What, is Buenos Aires the capital of Brazil? And they were just asked yes or no. What they found was that when they were asked verbally to just guess these yes or no questions on their own, they guessed right about 50% of the time, which is like a normal statistic for just guessing games. Like, you have a 50% chance of being right. When they answered using the board, believing that their answers were coming from this other person on the other side of the room, like on the other side of this teleconference, they guessed actually upwards of 65% right, even though the robot was only just kind of amplifying their own unconscious movements using the board. So the implication was that one's non-conscious was a lot smarter than anyone knew. So then this robot was too delicate for further experiments, which I think maybe it broke down, is what they're saying.
Yeah.
So then they decided to do a second experiment, with this time with two humans. The participant was blindfolded, and then the other player, who was actually like in on it, quietly took their hands off the planchette, which meant that the participant thinking they were playing with a person was actually alone, only had their fingers on the planchette without anyone else there, and they were completely blindfolded. So that created that automatic pilot state that the researchers were looking for. And again, so this answered the question we were talking about offline, Emily. It must have been similar, only yes or no questions. Same results came back around. When they thought they were with somebody else and using the board, they were, again, more correct than when they were just giving verbal answers, like 50% accuracy for verbal responses to 65% for Ouija responses. So they were more accurate with the board than by themselves. Yeah. So you think you know something, but inside something Bell says you do much better with the Ouija on questions that you really don't think you know, but actually something inside you does know, and the Ouija can help you answer above chance.
Right.
I think there's
one
something
thing
to
I will
that.
add is that there was one study, and I've lost the name of everything about it, but there was one study that I read about that was basically like it was a bunch of people, but they blindfolded everybody, and it wasn't just yes or no, and they couldn't spell anything.
Well, that just proves it. It's bullshit. That's really funny. So there's something about intuition there, right? Because these experiments to me tell me it's not about spirits, ghosts, or anything. It's about trusting your intuition in your gut. Like when you take out your own reasoning in your own mind, because like you will, I don't know about you, but like when I'm playing trivia or being asked a question, I can like talk myself out of every answer. And when I'm doing intuition exercises, like even those fun things on like Instagram from our friends, they'll post like Andrea does this sometimes, or like Saturn, Jasmine, she'll do some things like this sometimes. And like I'll try, or even like Moon Cactus, right? Like they'll post, choose a card, and I'll usually use that as an exercise to like sit with myself. These are all people on our social, and all past guests, you should all follow them. I'll sit with myself for just a moment. I'm usually on the toilet, and I'll just be like, okay, let me tap into my gut, and let me just go within for a second and just pick what, like, go with my first thought, my subconscious, my intuition. Like I'll use this as an exercise to strengthen that. And this is like a long tangent to just say that, like, I think that our brains, when we're conscious, can talk ourselves out of the correct answer very quickly, or can like, it gets too complicated. But when we trust something outside of ourselves, we are actually smarter than we think we are. Yeah. We do know the answer more so than we think we know. So it's not the board. It's actually just like removing all of the clutter and trusting the board more. So yeah, it's not spirits.
Or you could you could totally consider it also like tapping into your subconscious, which like, it's like, it's not just that it's your gut, but it's that like maybe like a piece of your brain knows something, what I mean? That
the file, like the SpongeBob file.
Yeah, right. Like, and it's like pushing it forward for you.
Yeah. And it's great because like this tool helps, remove that, because again, you're focused on something physical. Again, these are just tools
it's like
to help
the ego. It's right. It is
Yeah.
the one that wants you to do sexy things. Super ego is the one that's like,
Is that it?
I'm master of the universe. I don't know. And then the ego is the one that has to navigate between them.
I do not know that, but that is very cool.
That's
a cool way to break it down. I don't know.
So I think it's like, just shutting your ego up, basically.
Fascinating. I wish I was smart enough to go into like brain science.
Neuroscience. It's cool. Yeah. Okay, so all that said, for entertainment purposes only, this is Witchcast. Yes. So I'm going to make an argument for how it could be.
Yes, let's go on the other side of it. I was like, wow, we sound like such men right now.
Women are allowed to believe science too.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, what is this, Joe Rogan debunking Ouija boards? Come on.
Ew,
that's
don't you
not
ever
this
compare
podcast.
us to them again.
All right, so I mean, one, you could argue that like, blindfolding people didn't work because you need like a human connection to make it work, and like, you need to like, maybe the spirits have to see through your eyes, maybe they can't just like, or maybe they don't want to just give information to some skeptical scientists who blindfolded the people who they're trying to talk to.
Right. I mean, that is true. The energy you do bring into any work, as we know, as witches, if you come in with full skepticism, is most likely it's not going to work.
Yeah. And And like, if it was so much more accurate, maybe it's because you're connecting with the universe, not just your own subconscious, you know?
Right. Which I do believe in, that there is like a collective conscious. There is like an energy stream that you can tap into. It's like we pick up on that. And that is like a prime, like that could be, you could call that scientific or you can call that woo woo, like whatever you want to call it. Animals tap into it, migration patterns, you know, hibernation, saying the same thing at the same time, like whatever you want to call it. It's that is real to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is it witchy? I'm going to go with yeah. I'm going to go with yeah. Ouija boards remain witchy despite having a scientific explanation.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you've listened this far, and maybe this is your first episode, but if you...
And if it is, wow, sorry it's so chaotic in here, but we are having fun, and I hope you are too.
Yeah, welcome. I mean, I think this is a pretty tame, as far... We've had much wilder, but we've stayed pretty on topic, if I do say so myself, comparatively to past episodes. But everything is witchy, and everything is science, is my, like, conclusion of this podcast as a series, if I do 100%. Say so myself. You know what I mean? Like, it is just like what we call witchy is just science by another name in my mind. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like any of it can be scienced away, and any of it can be something magical if you like believe in it. Just because you know, there's like a famous quote that's like, just because you know how it works doesn't mean it stops being magic, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like what was magic back in the day was just science that they didn't have words for yet. You know what I mean? Like they just didn't know.
Oh, I think our guest said that last, but like she was quoting someone else. I think right.
Laurel, yeah. Anyway, let us know if you know.
Let us know what you think.
Let us know if let us know if you use a Ouija board. If you've used one in the past, if you use one now in your practice, how do you feel about them? Are you freaked out? Are you scared? Do you love them?
Would you consider it with all this new information? Does this change anything for you?
Because I gotta say, I don't think it does yet for me. I feel still pretty sus about it.
You know, I probably would use it after reading this, and also I have used one before, and...
You're so much braver than me. I guess, you know, in my mind, my...
Well, I lived with a Ouija board for like a year, you know? Ultimately, I got a little freaked out and got rid of it, but like, you know...
My brain also just said, well, Kate, you use tarot all the time. What's the difference?
Yeah. And you know who could have told you that is your subconscious via Ouija board.
I mean, yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's true that we might get something
I do
spooky,
pendulums,
we
I do
like...
tarot, I do, like, I literally talk to ghosts. I took a psychic mediumship class. I do office hours.
Yeah. Kate,
I don't know why.
So just
I
like
call my dog Demon.
That, like what you would do before that.
Yeah.
To prep.
I literally
you know, like
do
any
no
sort
prep.
of,
I'm so
if you do any
lazy.
sort of...
Yeah. Okay.
So, you know, I mean, what's the tool different?
Yeah, I guess.
You know, just because it has, like, I guess some collective consciousness, like, negative energy around it, I guess, is, like, an argument for maybe a little extra protection spellage.
It really just has a negative rep. That's really what it is. It is just all... It's like MSG. It just has a bad PR.
That's right. Friends, we're both going to draw a card today. Since it's the season finale, we want to give you double wisdom.
Trouble boiling bubble.
Oh, that's weird. I just pulled the same card as I pulled earlier today.
Oh. It really wants to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Jesus.
All right, what did you get?
I got the 10 of Swords.
Oh, woof. I got the Magician, but reversed. Twice.
Okay.
Today.
Interesting. Well,
all right.
Not a huge fan of this card.
Well, you know, wait, isn't the 10 of Swords? No,
but it means the end is over. It means the end is near.
Yeah, if bad things are happening, it's almost over.
Oops, I just hit my mic. Sorry.
All right, 10 of Swords. We're talking about, defeat, sadness, backstabbing, and endings. Woof!
Yeah.
All right, and then the Magician, skill, action, acknowledging your motivations, understanding your intentions. Should we biddy these things? Try and find some silver linings?
Yeah, let's I reject this card. I'm going to draw a clarifying card. But it does mean that we're at the end of this journey. Oh, Jesus Christ.
What did you get?
I just pulled the 8 of Swords reversed.
What the fuck? Oh, boy.
This deck is I'm using the Universal Goddess deck, which those of you who have listened know this deck and love it. I will post photos of it, but it is one picture is of a goddess. They're all like goddesses from different cultures. One is a goddess leaning. The Ten of Swords is a goddess leaning against a river, and she's like crying, and there are 10 sharp swords all poking out from the trees, like in like a arch, like at attacking her, and she looks terrified, and she's clutching. She's like just kind of like clutching her hands, and she has tears in her eyes. And then the Eight of Swords is this other goddess outside of a tomb, a mausoleum. There's like ghosts coming out of it, and she's covered in vines, and she's crying and holding flowers. And then there's just like 8 swords following the path from the mausoleum, and she's just like totally morose, and it's all grayscale and super
If
depressed.
it helps at all, I decided to also pull a clarifying card just to support your move, and I got Queen of Swords.
Okay, all right.
You know, it's a progression at least.
maybe moving out of it.
Yeah.
Oy
All right.
vey.
Okay. And then so I'm using my Moon Power Tarot deck by Charlie Quinteros / Six Sad Girls. And I got the Magician reversed, and I got the Queen of Swords upright.
Well, those are much better cards.
Well, you know, maybe there's a message if we combine them all together.
You know what though? It has a positive reading.
Okay. Okay.
Biddy came through. You want to go first?
All right. Okay. All right. What order did we pull them in? So the first one we pulled was the Magician, right?
Yours was first, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Magician upright is manifestation, resourcefulness, power, and inspired action. Reversed is manipulation, poor planning, and untapped talents. I'm going to read the Magician reversed because that's how I pulled it. So the Magician reversed shows that you are exploring what you wish to manifest, but not taking action yet. You're uncertain if you have everything you need, and maybe unsure about how to make it happen. If you take care of what you intend to manifest, the universe will work out how. Stay attuned to your intuition and pay attention to opportunities as they arise. These are like little breadcrumbs that will take you closer to your goal. And if you're already acting on your goal, it could be a sign that you're struggling to see progress, or maybe you don't have an idea of like what to do in order to you don't know what action to take to manifest a thing that you want to do, or an idea. Maybe you don't know what your desired outcome is, or maybe it's not like in alignment with your highest goal. But it could also, like a career reading, mean like you have skills, talents, and capabilities. Many skills, talents, and capabilities, but your real potential is not being maximalized. You may have much more to give, and so you have to ask yourself what needs to change for you to reach your fullest potential.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So given that, and also given like I'm reading also too like the meanings for 10 of Swords and the 8 of Swords reversed, and then also that we're now in May, and what's going on astrologically, and then also Jasmine Wolf, our friend from Saturn, I just shared in our stories, she just published like the numerology meanings for May. Please check out her account. It's in Saturn. And astrologically, what's going on? Okay, so I think what the Ten of Swords is saying, and what Biddy says, is about letting go and accepting your current circumstances. You no longer resist change, but allow it to happen, even if it causes initial pain and hurt to you. You recognize that there must be a change to facilitate renewal, and you allow it to occur rather than fighting it. The good news is that the Ten of Swords marks the final ordeal. No more pain will come to you from that source. The hour is darkest before dawn, and you must experience the full impact of what has happened before you can move forward and start over. Is it going to be easy? No. But this ordeal last forever? No. Pick yourself up off the ground and reflect upon what has happened to you and why, so that you can learn from this experience. And then you can evolve to your fullest potential.
Okay.
Interesting. And then moving on to the 8 of Swords reversed, and then you pulled also, what did
Queen
you pull?
of Swords.
Okay. So then 8 of Swords reverse actually, I think, has a really positive meaning, according to Biddy. Limiting self-beliefs plague you, preventing you from moving forward. So maybe you believe you don't deserve to be wealthy, or you think you're too old to lose weight, or unhappy with your body or your health. These hold yourself back from achieving your personal goals, which I think ties in totally to what we're talking about. Yeah. So catch yourself when you're in a negative thought pattern and break that cycle. Don't be prone to negative self-talk. It also says that you might need to clear out some skeletons in the closet and let go of old patterns and belief systems that are holding you back. And it could also show that you're releasing negative patterns and belief systems, and you see the light at the end of the tunnel, and you can create a more positive reality for yourself by letting go of those self-limiting beliefs. You're going through a difficult time, and you're more open to change and self-acceptance. So I love that.
And then finally, Queen of Swords upright. Queen of Swords, we always, you want to be in the Queens and Kings generally. Yeah. It's such a good place to be in the minor arcana. So the Queen of Swords combines mental clarity and intellectual power as part of the suit of swords with the maturity and receptiveness of the Queen. You have the gift of being able to use your intellect and unbiased judgment while also remaining flexible and open to receive input from other sources. As you lead from the head and not the heart, you are better able to discern situations without the influence of emotion or sentimentality. You may believe that empathy or compassion towards others will distract you from the task at hand. Instead, you prefer to know the how, what, why, where, when, and who of everything to help you make sense of your environment and better understand others. It is not that you do not care about others, but you connect with other people through an intellectual understanding rather than an emotional one. You're a truth seeker. You have an innate ability to tell it like it is. You're a quick thinker, highly perceptive. I can't talk today. I guess there's not a lot of lessons in here. It's more of an assessment.
Well, I mean, maybe that's the end goal, though. That's good.
Yeah, independent, unbiased judgment, clear boundaries, direct communication.
Yes. So that could be maybe somebody. So if this all resonates with you, this could be just directly talking to me and Emily. But if this resonates with you, dear listener,
does feel like they're coming for me, but that's okay.
It could be coming for us. They could be dragging us. Maybe it's either energy. I think I like to think of the Queens and Kings, the face cards, as like either energy within yourself that you should be channeling, or it could be someone outside of yourself that maybe you could look to be bringing in, or that's like relating to this journey in your life. So take that into consideration. But overall, I was initially the cards look a little scary, but like the Ouija boards, maybe not so scary after all.
Ah, very astute, Kate.
Full circle right there.
Yeah, beautifully done.
Thank you.
And that's our season finale, our friends.
Yay. Oh my goodness.
It's been such a blast.
Yes.
How many great guests.
Wow.
So many. What a treat. Like over and over. I feel like these episodes have been really fun.
Yeah.
I'm excited to take a break because I think that like witchy self-care is part of doing this podcast right. Yes. And like, making sure we don't get overloaded as things heat up for the summer, so to speak.
Literally. So warm.
But love doing this, and we'll be back with more stuff, and we'll be on Instagram in the interim. Yes. Where you can follow us at Witchcast Podcast.
Yes. Please shoot us an email at witchcastpodcast@gmail.com. And you can also, of course, find links and all of our resources at witchcastpodcast.com.
And hey, while you're out there on the internet, why not leave us? You're not going to believe that I'm going to ask this, but I'm tossing it out there.
Oh, gee golly gosh.
Hear me out. What if you left us a 5-star review? Maybe with a little comment about how nice you think we are, because we are. We're really nice.
We're doing
our best.
We're trying.
If you like this podcast, really, in all seriousness, leaving it a review, leaving it a 5-star review with a little comment, perhaps, for example, really helps other people find us. It tickles us. It makes our day, and it makes it more possible for us to keep doing this.
Right. Yes. Please, it means a lot, and we appreciate it so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And until next time.
Hex yeah!
'Cause it's Witchcast.